Global markets just slammed the brakes, and it all came down to one chilly message from the Fed. No rush to cut rates. Boom. Stocks stumbled, risky assets got hit first, and suddenly investors are rethinking everything. Here's the deal. Inflation is still hot, growth is still strong, and the Fed is basically saying, don't get too comfortable. So who blinks first, the markets or the Fed? Stick around, because I'll break it all down. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And watch until the end, because the biggest risk this week, it's hiding in Friday's jobs report.
All right, welcome to The Explainer, where we break down the big stories. This week, global markets kind of hit the brakes after a really strong run. So we're going to dive into the one key message that really sent ripples through the financial world. Okay, so the main story this week, it was a really clear and honestly pretty chilly message from the U.S. Federal Reserve. The officials basically signaled they are in no rush to start cutting interest rates. I mean, they just poured a bucket of cold water on all that market optimism. And, that cautious tone, it sent an immediate ripple right through the financial world. So what was the result? Well, U.S. stocks saw their second losing week in the last 8. That's a super clear sign that investors are, hitting pause and recalibrating their expectations. And look, this pullback was incredibly broad. It wasn't just like one sector. You can see the tech-heavy NASDAQ and the small-cap Russell 2000, they led the losses. And that tells you something important. As investors got more cautious, those riskier assets were the very first ones to feel the heat. All right, so this is really the crucial point here. We got to understand the dilemma the Fed is facing. And it all boils down to a really confusing and, often contradictory set of economic data points. Okay, so right now the Fed is taking what we call a hawkish stance. So what does that even mean? It means their number one priority, their main mission is fighting inflation. They're so focused on it that they've even pointed out that stock valuations look, and I'm quoting here, fairly high. That's a pretty subtle warning to the market, right? But here's the thing that makes their job so tough right now. It's the conflicting data we're all seeing. It's like on one hand, you've got this stubborn inflation that just won't go away. And on the other, you have this surprisingly strong economic growth. It's a real puzzle. Okay, first up, the inflation problem. The Fed's favorite way to measure inflation, it's called core PCE, is still chugging along at an annual rate of 2.9%. Now, that is stubbornly high and still a long way from their 2% target. But, and this is the crazy part, here's the other side of that puzzle. The economy isn't slowing down at all. In fact, it's speeding up. GDP growth was just revised up to a really powerful 3.8%. That is way stronger than anyone thought it would be, and it makes that inflation fight so much more complicated. And if you want to see just how resilient the American consumer is, you don't have to look any further than the housing market. I mean, even with these high mortgage rates, new home sales just surged to an annualized rate of 800,000. That number completely smashed expectations, and it just goes to show people are still out there spending confidently. So what's the big takeaway from all of this? It's pretty clear, really. The Fed is not blinking. With a strong consumer and inflation that just refuses to go away, that easy, smooth path to rate cuts that markets were pricing in just a few weeks ago, it's looking a whole lot more complicated now. Okay, so let's zoom out a bit and move to the global story and see how this all connects. Because believe me, this isn't just a US issue. Other major economies are facing their own unique challenges, and they're all on very different paths. Over in the Eurozone, the economy really does have a split personality right now. You've got the services sector, which is holding up remarkably well. It actually hit a 16-month high. But at the exact same time, the manufacturing sector is faltering. That creates a really uncertain and uneven outlook for the entire continent. All right, let's hop over to Japan. Their central bank is facing its own really tough choice. So a recent inflation report came in softer than they expected, which gives them a little bit of breathing room. But internally, the pressure to finally raise interest rates after years of this ultra-low policy is really building. They are truly caught right in the middle. And then you've got China, where we're seeing another one of these weird disconnects. The stock market actually saw some modest gains, but it wasn't because of strong economic data. Nope. Instead, it seems like optimism around artificial intelligence and, hopes for more government support are kind of propping up market sentiment, at least for now. All right, so that's the recap of what happened this past week. Now, let's shift gears from what did happen to what could happen. We're going to look ahead at the 5 biggest risks on the horizon that could really stir up the markets in the coming days. So, check out how interconnected all these risks are. It really tells a story. It all starts in the US with labor and inflation data that's going to put a ton of pressure on the Fed. Then that pressure ripples out to Europe, where their own inflation numbers could throw a curveball. From there, all eyes are going to turn to China's manufacturing data to see if there are any real signs of a recovery. And finally, all of this global uncertainty lands right back on Japan, making their policy decisions even harder. It's like a chain reaction just waiting to happen. But look, if you only have time to watch one single thing this week, make it this: Friday's jobs report in the United States. I'm telling you, this is going to be the most important piece of data for the week by a long shot. And here's exactly why this is so critical. See, August report was already a bit of a red flag. So if we get another weak report, it could be the confirmation that the economy is genuinely slowing down. And that would force the Fed into a really terrible choice. Do they keep fighting inflation, or do they pivot to support a weakening economy and job market? It's a classic rock and a hard place situation. And this all brings us to the central question, the big one for the weeks and months ahead. You've got markets that are just desperate for rate cuts. But the economic data, for now at least, is screaming, wait. So who's going to blink first? Will the economy soften enough to finally force the Fed's hand? Or will the market have to accept that, you know what, higher rates are here to stay for a while longer? That's the billion-dollar question everyone is waiting for.
If you found this breakdown useful, hit like and share it. It helps more people discover MacroNav. And if you want more clear, no-nonsense explainers on global macro and finance, make sure you're subscribed. Stay ahead, stay informed.